The complete downfall of the best PvP game of 2023, that being Type Soul. Now, you guys have heard me say over and over again, time and time again, that I believe Type Soul has arguably the best PvP on the Roblox platform, sitting there right next to, below, or maybe even above Deepwoken. Again, which is why I said arguably. I can understand everybody's point of views when it comes to this topic, because Deepwoken is a goated game. Type Soul was more fun in my opinion. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fun whilst it lasted, to say the least. Fortunately, Roblox developers like to scam. And now we're here with the game that has like 10 players. That's crazy to say. The game has like 10-20 players, bro. Now, honestly, getting straight into the video, my boy Bohemian has made a video, the complete downfall of Type Soul. And I was gonna do this video myself, like actually going in depth and talking about every situation, but he beat me to the gun, so I'm not gonna put the effort in that what comes into scripting the video and doing the research. I'd much rather be lazy and react to somebody who has some credible information. Even though I was better than him at the game, don't make me put the clip, Bohemian. You know I beat you up every single time. It's still a credible source because he was playing the game right there with me on release, and he was just as addicted as I was, so I want to hear his information. So yeah, y'all go check out. The link to this video will be in the description and the pinned comment. Let's get straight into it. All right.
Type Soul is one of the games that took over Roblox anime as a whole. It really did inspire a whole new batch of Bleach teams after release and has left.
He said inspired. No, that this. I mean, obviously, that's just Type Soul copies
on the Roblox anime community. Type Soul was a Roblox Bleach game that released around summertime, and when this game released, it had the community in a chokehold in multiple ways. It was a CC Roblox Bleach game that eventually released to the public, and when the game released, it was completely new and had great and unique PvP. This is what got people hooked onto the game, but if you was to go and look at Type
Man,
Soul,
listen, I want to say, I don't want to pause too much, this is a 12-minute long video. But Type Soul, if there was a big war going on with multiple people around, it was fun. It was entertaining, and the fights would actually end at some point. In Deepwoken, it's a parry trade for 30 minutes straight. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, bro. It's just, hey, this game's just more fun. Let's be so real.
Right now, it is absolutely dead. And I want to answer the question on what happened to Type Soul, because there's only like 50 players for the game right now.
The Roblox developers happened to Type Soul. I think I know there was a time where people were blaming dead games on Roblox content creators generating hype and blah 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 blah. I don't think that's the case. I'm gonna be so serious. I used to think it was a mix between Roblox content creators and the community, because people will say, oh, I love this game, want to play this game so bad, and never play it after the first day of the game's release. But I blame it on the developers, and I have a whole video coming out about that at some point. So
no. And I also want to say this video is kind of inspired off of Zorana Callum's Grand Peace Online Fallout video, so credit to him for like this idea.
We just reacted to that the other day.
If you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, because I'm trying to hit 50K this year, and any support helps. And coming off of that, I feel like to understand what happened to Type Soul and how the game died,
I'm not pausing anymore. I'm just gonna talk over him.
How the game even got to such a high status in the first place. When playing early Type Soul fresh off the release of this game, I feel like some of the things that allowed Type Soul to actually stand out was going to be the combat and how diverse the game actually felt. When this game released,
the game did feel diverse, bro.
Specifically for PvP, were not in a really good state. The only game that you could play with somewhat decent PvP was going to be GPO, which was fresh off update 8 at the time. Now, when playing the early Type Soul PvP, the game was in a state where it wasn't like how it was nearing the end of the game. People would actually use their M1s and create different builds by going down one of the multiple skill trees like Kendo, Hakuda, or Speed, while also having fun and playing the game in general. This early Type Soul was honestly some of the most fun I've personally had playing Roblox.
No,
and
for real.
People who prefer PvP as well.
For
there was also a raid system in Type Soul that allowed people to queue up against each other and have a reason to fight in the first
24-hour streams
and
and all.
Since this was all new to a majority of us, the raid system was honestly pretty good. time scheduling for
Okay.
it was very acceptable.
I'm pausing. Kakarot Town raids were trash. Even on release, Bohemian. Why didn't you put some Rondenzweig raids during release were lit. Heiko Mundo was kind of mid. Soul Society was okay. But Wanderreich, before they changed the map, no one told them to change the map too. I'm so Roblox developers. But Wanderreich, before they changed the map, was fun as heck.
But besides that, playing the PvP was actually just fun. So eventually, people learned that from playing the game, you can unlock your endgame mode, whether it's going to be Bankai, Res, or Segunda, through a hidden method while doing raids. This mystery around unlocking one of the rarest power-ups and coolest ones in the game.
Before people figured out, before people kind of figured out raids were the thing to unlock your modes, it was kind of cool. But when people did figure out, it was still fun as well. So
160 to 180 raids,
which was OD
instead of Type Soul.
That was OD.
As someone that personally did it, getting Bankai or any endgame form back then was honestly so extremely difficult and took a lot of time because you had to win those raids. You couldn't just play 180 raids. But it was somewhat worth it because when you eventually got this endgame form, it caused you to basically just become a boss raid. Multiple people uploaded videos where
I ain't gonna lie, boss raiding with Bankai was fun as heck.
And in general, the community
before everybody started getting Bankai, oh my lord,
like fire, allowing you to create zombies of people that you killed.
Like if you got Bankai before everyone got it, when I first got fire, it was too lit.
All of the different sheet guys in the game also encourage people to spend
Nano
a
was
lot
so good
of money, and I mean a lot on the game.
He still is.
Personally, some people that I know, Revolveragz spent around $500 on the game. Infernasum
is that me?
Self spent anywhere from like 100k to 200k Robux on rerolls, and even the average player who wasn't a YouTuber would spend anywhere from like $100 to $200 on Type Soul. And it's crazy to think that all it took for people to spend money on it.
You know how much these developers made? Because it was like 800 Robux for one Chica reroll at one point, bro. These developers made bank, bro. Oh my gosh, man.
A game like this was simply just
like you had people in my Discord server sending screenshots of spending 50,000 Robux, 100,000 Robux. These are normal players, not content creators, just normal, and imagine in other people's servers and communities and things of that nature. Oh my lord, dude.
Just a great and fun combat system. Type Soul at its peak deserved all of this, but now we kind of have to look into what made the game actually fall off. And to start with this, we have to talk about how Type Soul updates played into the game overall. The earlier updates of the game weren't really a problem because people were still kind of distracted by raids and trying to actually get their endgame form. But the community overall was starting to realize how broken some things were inside the game. Now, every faction says that something was broken while the other faction says that it's balanced, but things like speed, Hakuda, and certain legendary abilities for racists were kind of extremely broken.
Hakuda was broken. Speed was manageable. Speed was annoying to deal with, but was manageable.
But the thing
Hakuda was broken.
Is that there was no communication at all
between
the developers and the player base. Some of these broken things weren't even fully addressed until it was near the game's ending lifespan, and Hakuda only started to receive nerfs very
again I had to pause. The developers, low-key, they had the big, I don't want to say all of them. The some of the moderators I talked to and high staff members, I don't know if I spoke to any developers directly, were actually really cool people. But the developers were egoing, bro. They were egoing so hard. And they stopped egoing once they realized, damn, niggas really just aren't playing the game anymore. Like, they're not going to sit around and tolerate our BS. They were egoing
into the game. Legendaries were left completely unchecked in two ways, being the skills and something else that
they were just listening to the CC players.
But overall, there was just a lot of flaws being made apparent to the game.
Remember, the CC players said they wanted the game to go CC again.
Somewhat, it was
enjoy your CC, fam.
Radio silence from the developers because there would be no communication between them and us. To make things even worse, the moderators for this game were actively trying to bring the reputation down for it. It's still some of the most bizarre
moderators
stuff.
banning people for no reason.
For fighting the moderators instead of the game, playing games with the moderators,
dewoken situation,
pinging them in Discord, and the worst and funniest one banned from Type Soul moderators is that somebody got banned for listening along with the moderator on Spotify.
Yep.
there's a video called Top 5 Type Soul Bans, where the community ranked the worst bans in the game from the moderators. It's like they were actively trying to destroy the game themselves, and what made it worse was that they weren't put in place until kind of like late in the lifespan of Type Soul overall. Moving on from this though, another thing that actually led to the downfall of the game was the ownership issues for the game. There was a problem with the developers of the game, and this led to the original owner leaking the
laggy ass
Soul,
server,
which I personally believe was the first heavy hitting impact to the downfall of Type Soul. With the files leaked, one specific thing that the players could see
I do remember that
was the rates of everything. Now, legendary items before were posted as 1% to be pulled back then. This included the legendary.
You want to know what's crazy? Although him leaking Type Soul was bad for it, if he never leaked it, we would have never known we were getting scammed out of our raids. And the only reason he decided to leak it on top of like having problems with the other developers is because he knew they were scamming us. So he low-key saved us at the same time as like fucking us over. You can't even be mad at that.
Legendary Sheik Eyes, or just legendary abilities overall. Now, after the file leak, the real percentage for legendary weapons was 10%. And then the percentage for the legendary Sheik Eyes that people were actually spinning for was 0.33%. This caused an uproar in the community, and it's completely understandable because, like I stated before, people were spinning for these, assuming that they're the right percentage, spending huge amounts of money on it, but they weren't. Which basically meant you were getting scammed. Now, taking people's money is definitely one of the huge nails that put Type Stones at the coffin, but it wasn't the main one, surprisingly. The one that most definitely killed the game was the file of the game being leaked, and one singular game took advantage of this. This was Type Soul Battleground. This game was basically everything from
I didn't
Type
touch
Soul
it, bro.
that you could see or get without you having to actually go through the long, boring, and tedious grind for it. It was basically Type Soul but open, or something like that. This game literally took out 1/3 of Type Soul's player base from just being Type Soul. It was the exact same combat, skills, weapons, maps, everything, but you could just use it and have fun without having to actually do the hard grinding for it. The developers who stayed with the main game after this were kind of just destined to eventually fail because of it, and that's because you basically lost everything you had.
K1 tried to save them, but he couldn't do it.
Private with friends, and honestly speaking, during this time when the Battlegrounds was popular, I did not touch the real Type Soul at all. It was literally everything for free without.
I think I'm the only person that didn't play Type Soul Battlegrounds. Like, I was really loyal to this game at a certain point because the reason I gave Type Soul my loyalty was because it fulfilled a boredom within me that no game on Roblox was doing except for Voxel Blade. And Voxel Blade, by the time Type Soul came out, was kind of dead. So, I respected that because developers just don't like pushing out good games anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, obviously there are good games coming out 2024, but devs just decide they want to sell for free, and it's so hard to find an enjoyable game on Roblox. So when there are enjoyable, well-made games, and Type Soul at the time, I would say pretty well-made, they just didn't continue to deliver. If there's a well-made game that's genuinely enjoyable, I will invest my time and money into it with no issue. However, Roblox developers are sellers, so the story continues.
Having to do grind, and it was personally so much fun. Type Soul Battlegrounds had around 7k players, while the real Type Soul had around 16k. So it was literally taking out a huge portion of the players. And I feel like another way to paint it is like this, in case some people don't understand. Type Soul's core design for the game was getting people to spend large amounts of money to get these rare, OP, and very cool abilities.
And I hope y'all are reading that. Type Soul's core design for the game. There was nothing more to it other than, especially updates. Updates were designed around getting people to spend more money. Updates were not designed around getting you to enjoy and play new content.
Fight with. People who had the money and were consumers enjoyed this. Type Soul Battlegrounds core design was allowing everyone to spend no money and get the rare, OP, and very cool abilities to fight with. Everyone enjoyed this. So when you just paint it like this, you can see why the Battlegrounds had a huge amount of players. So over time, with Type Soul Battlegrounds catering to everybody, people feeling like they wasted their money and time, eventually Type Soul just kept losing more and more players. The updates for the game started to finally listen to the community nearing the end, but it was very late and no one really even cared anymore because you could literally use everything in the game for free and fight. So there's no need to play the real one, that's the exact same thing. So with the player base slowly dwindling down, Type Soul couldn't even get updates right, listen to the community right, or even take down the games that were using their assets. And honestly, it's kind of sad and unfortunate for developers, and I really do feel bad for them because they were left on the game, and I just can't imagine someone taking your work and getting money off of it.
Again, a lot of money off of it too.
Maybe if things went better at the start with more communication from developers to the actual player base and just being more open-ended on what you're going to be doing with the game. I went back to the main game for footage and the servers are absolutely desolate. No one around and nothing to do. Only raids that start are the ones in KT Town, and that's it because they start every hour. Nothing is happening on the game at all, and the game also hasn't received an update in 2 months from the time of this video probably releasing. It is complete radio silence from developers.
Bro said not Dave. Bro stole my whole Discord.
It's fine to say that Type Soul is officially dead. Unless the developers are doing something like more CC wise, they just haven't been updating the game, and I can't really blame them. Now, there was definitely more that I can get into with this game overall and the downfall of it, because there are multiple Type Soul copies running around trying to replicate the feeling of the game and the unique and fun combat that Type Soul had. They have games like Type 2, Type Refined, Type Menma, Type Soulless, Kubo,
Type Refined and Type Soulless have more players than Type Soul.
After Bohemian Fart, if you're enjoying the video, Type 1. In general, there's just a lot of copies for this game and you should really only be playing one of them. They also have CC requirements, and I personally think that this is just to like kind of replicate Type Soul's flame. I don't think Type Soul will ever really die because it seems like people refuse to let this combat system go out, and I don't blame them. Another game that I can see actually have some type of hype towards it and kind of being an inspiration of Type Soul. Overall though, Type Soul was a really fun game, and I do personally enjoy how it impacted the community and what it did. But unfortunately, the game died due to them not listening to the community, performing bad updates during the...
Well, I'm definitely gonna end it here. Thank you, Bohemian, for cooking. Yeah, everything Bohemian said was correct, man. The developers let their game die. The scamming, the updates, man. There's just so many different factors that went into this game dying. It is what it is, though. We gotta smoke that out, and you know, hopefully another game will come that fills our void. I mean, there will be. It's 2024 now, guys, but you know, we just gotta wait, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me see our boys in the next one. Peace.